When knocked down, rise stronger. The art of resilient passion. Welcome, everyone. I stand before you today with a heart full of gratitude and excitement because what I'm about to share with you isn't just my wisdom, it's the distilled essence of transformative insights from someone truly remarkable. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Tracey Mebane, a visionary whose work has profoundly impacted countless lives. Tracy isn't just a thought leader. She's a light bringer who walks into the darkest professional spaces and somehow, against all odds, illuminates paths forward that no one else could see. Her dedication to empowering others in their most vulnerable moments, particularly Black women navigating professional landscapes riddled with invisible barriers, has literally changed the trajectory of careers and lives. The wisdom she shared forms the foundation of what I'm about to share with you today. Have you ever wanted something so badly that the mere thought of not achieving it made your stomach twist into knots? That promotion you've been eyeing, that business you've been dreaming of launching, that creative project that keeps you up at night with its persistent whispers of possibility. Now, let me ask you something else. What happened the last time someone told you no? Did you fold like a house of cards in a hurricane? Did you retreat to that comfortable corner of self doubt we all know too well? Or did you find another way forward? Perhaps not the straight path you'd imagine, but a path nonetheless. I'll never forget something Tracy Mebane said during our conversation that literally stopped me in my tracks. The world is designed to knock you down. Your job isn't to avoid falling, it's to master the art of getting back up. Let that sink in for a moment. The world is designed to knock you down. We live in a culture absolutely obsessed with overnight success. We scroll through carefully curated highlight reels on social media, each swipe of the thumb bringing another perfectly filtered moment of triumph. We read about 30 under 30 lists and billion-dollar valuations as if they materialized from thin air. What we don't see, what these carefully constructed narratives deliberately hide, are the countless rejections, the sleepless nights, the moments of paralyzing doubt that preceded these triumphs. The truth is far less glamorous, but infinitely more powerful. Resilience isn't born in moments of success. It's forged in the fires of setback. It's hammered out on the anvil of disappointment. It's tempered in the cold waters of rejection. When I interviewed Tracy, she introduced me to Danya Amelia's remarkable journey. Danya rose from humble beginnings in Indonesia to become a renowned keynote speaker, leading Asia's largest executive peer network. But her path was anything but smooth. In fact, it was riddled with obstacles that would have stopped most people dead in their tracks. Donya faced crushing poverty, not the kind that means skipping lattes, but the kind where basic necessities are luxuries. She encountered industry gatekeepers who judged her appearance rather than her abilities, who told her explicitly that she didn't have the look for success. She navigated cultural barriers that seemed as impenetrable as concrete walls. And through it all, she battled the constant whisper of imposter syndrome, telling her she didn't belong in rooms filled with executives and thought leaders. But here's what makes Danya's story extraordinary. She didn't just overcome these obstacles, she transformed them into her foundation. She developed what she calls the Dana framework: dreams, opportunity, never give up, action. This wasn't just a cute acronym, it became her blueprint for resilience in the face of crushing setbacks. Everyone still eats rice, Danya would remind herself when doubting her place among executives. This simple phrase, acknowledging our shared humanity regardless of status, became her anchor when imposter syndrome threatened to pull her under. What strikes me most about Danya's approach is how she reframed rejection. Each no wasn't evidence of her inadequacy, it was fuel for growth, it was data, it was in its own strange way a gift. This perspective shift doesn't happen overnight. It requires practice, intention, community. And speaking of community, this brings me to another powerful insight from my conversation with Tracey Mebane. After Threves, it takes a village initiative, demonstrates something crucial about resilience. We were never meant to build it alone. For African immigrant professionals facing systemic barriers to advancement, limited access to mentorship, and lack of representation, individual effort alone wasn't enough. Afro3 recognized this fundamental truth and created community based programs focused on empowerment. Their annual conferences bring together leaders and professionals, fostering collaboration and opportunity sharing among Black immigrants. The results speak volumes, increase professional awareness within the diaspora, new leadership pipelines, and a sustained sense of belonging and mutual upliftment. As the African proverb reminds us, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This wisdom applies especially to Black women in professional spaces who often face the double burden of racism and sexism. When the world seems determined to hand you pink slips while underperforming men receive golden parachutes, having a village around you isn't just nice, it's necessary for survival and ultimately for thriving. Tracey emphasized that authenticity and community are non negotiable elements of resilience. When we embrace our authentic selves and lean into supportive communities that understand our journey, we discover resources we never knew we had. But resilience isn't just about having support, it's also about taking action, even especially when everything in you wants to retreat. Consider King George VI, thrust onto the world stage during World War II while battling a debilitating stutter. Here was a man deemed incapable by many, forced by duty onto radio at Britain's hour of greatest need, with deep seated self doubt compounded by national crisis. What did he do? He embraced radical acceptance with his speech therapist. He engaged in painstaking practice. He displayed courageous vulnerability by speaking live before millions, despite knowing his imperfections would be broadcast across an empire. The result? He found his voice when it mattered most and became a symbol of perseverance under pressure. His story teaches us something profound. Action transforms pain into power. When we take bold steps toward healing and growth, we refuse to let rejection or obstacles define us permanently. Instead, we use our experiences as fuel for empowerment. I want to pause here and acknowledge something important. The path of resilience isn't always pretty. It isn't always Instagram worthy. Sometimes it looks like crying in your car before putting on a brave face for a meeting. Sometimes it looks like applying for the 20th job after 19 rejections. Sometimes it looks like pivoting your business model after a failed launch. As Maya Angelou wisely said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. This distinction between experiencing defeat and being defeated lies at the heart of resilient passion. During my interview with Tracey Mebane, she shared a powerful affirmation that has guided countless women through their darkest professional moments. I'm not defined by how many times I fall, but by how I rise each time with greater wisdom and determination. Let this truth sink in for a moment. Your setbacks are not your identity. They are merely chapters in your larger story. Now, I want to get practical. How do we actually build this resilience muscle? How do we train ourselves to bounce back stronger after rejection? First, we must recognize that resilience is built through setbacks. Being knocked down in pursuit of your passion is not a sign to stop. It's an invitation to build resilience and keep moving forward. Every challenge you face can become the foundation for your future strength and success. Think of it this way: muscles don't grow when you're comfortable, they grow when they're stressed, when tiny tears form, and then heal stronger than before. Your capacity for resilience works the same way. Second, we must embrace authenticity and community. Thriving after setbacks requires embracing your authentic self and leaning into supportive communities that understand your journey. For Black women, especially, finding spaces where you can be fully yourself, where you don't have to code switch or minimize your experiences, is revolutionary. Organizations like Afri Thrive demonstrate the power of building a village around professionals who share similar challenges. Third, we must take action that transforms pain into power. Don't let rejection or obstacles define you permanently. Instead, take bold steps toward healing, growth, and using your experiences as fuel for empowerment. This might mean seeking therapy to process professional trauma. It might mean starting a support group for others facing similar challenges. It might mean documenting your journey to help those who will follow in your footsteps. Whatever form it takes, action is the antidote to helplessness. It reminds us that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we always retain the power to choose our response. I'm reminded of something else Tracey Mebane emphasized in our conversation. The most resilient people aren't those who never fall, they're those who've learned how to fall well and rise with purpose. Learning to fall well means developing the ability to fail without catastrophizing. It means maintaining perspective. It means treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend facing disappointment. Rising with purpose means extracting meaning from your setbacks. What did this experience teach you? How has it clarified your values? What strengths did you discover that you didn't know you had? As I stand here today, I challenge you to reflect on one area where you've been knocked down and commit to taking one small step forward anyway. Connect with someone who has walked that road before you or offer encouragement to another striving soul. Let every setback be proof that you're still reaching higher, not evidence that it's time to quit. Remember Doña Amelia, who transformed rejection into a framework for success. Remember Afra Thrive, building villages of support for those facing systemic barriers. Remember King George VI, finding his voice when it mattered most. The path to your passion will never be a straight line. It will zigzag. It will double back on itself. It will sometimes lead you through valleys so low you can barely see the sky. But with each step, with each setback overcome, with each moment of resilience, you're not just moving towards your destination. You're becoming the person capable of handling the dream when it finally arrives. For those navigating professional landscapes that weren't designed with you in mind, this journey of resilience isn't just personal, it's revolutionary. Every time you refuse to be defined by rejection, every time you rise after being knocked down, you're not just changing your own story, you're changing the narrative for generations to come. So I leave you with this: your resilience is not just for you, it's a beacon that illuminates possibilities for others walking similar paths. It's a declaration that worthiness isn't determined by external validation, it's a revolution disguised as personal growth. The world needs your resilience, not just for what it helps you achieve, but for what it shows others is possible. When knocked down, we don't just rise, we rise stronger. And in doing so, we create a world where resilience isn't just an individual trait, but a collective power that transforms industries, communities, and ultimately lives. Thank you